All right. How are you? Welcome, welcome to the last day of the year, or no, almost the last day of the year. Our last meeting for the study hall series, at least with me. Um, so did everybody see my post in the tapping circle? Did anybody not see my post? Okay. Oh, okay. A few of you didn't see my post. Okay, cool. So, I did this really amazing end of the year kind of reflection and goal setting for the next year. And so I wanted us all to do it together. Sometimes these things are hard to do yourself. And so what we'll do today is we'll watch the video together. And those of you that have already seen it, you can start to make your list. I started with my what worked and what didn't work categories. Here, I can share. Actually, I'm gonna just start the video so that you guys watch. But for anybody that watched the video, start to make your list. If you've already seen the video, start to make your list of the what worked and what didn't work in 2025, the adventures that you want to go on, and what your misogi is. And also rate your year. I think it's important to rate your year too. Um, if you want some help, um, let's see, if you guys go to the Facebook group, I can't get there from my computer. I can only get there from my phone, unfortunately. But if you guys go to the tapping circle, you can see a list of, you can see kind of the notes from, you can see the notes from the video. Okay, so I'm going to share my screen and we are going to watch this video. Let's see. Right.
This is probably the most important video I'll ever make. I'm gonna teach you how to plan and dominate 2026 in literally 12 minutes. This is the exact same system I've been using for almost 3 decades to help me launch businesses, run 100-mile races, go on adventures, and literally just be super time rich, something nobody talks about. I have a wife, I have 4 kids, and there's literally no way that I can manage everything going on in my life without the system that I'm about to share with you right now. If you do everything the same that you did last year, but you add this 3-step system, you will literally bear hug me if you see me next December. So the first thing we have to do is we have to close out the year. Before we can go into 2026, we really have to close out 2025. What does every business in America do at the end of the year? They do an audit. They look through the year and say what worked, what didn't work. And I highly encourage everybody here to do the same thing. Just take a minute before we get even into the system and think about this year. Like what worked, what didn't work, what did you accomplish? I mean, for me, it was an incredible year. I ran races, I took trips with my family, I went to Finland with my friends. Like, take it in, like take a little inventory on how the year went. But then you have to start a formal process to close out the year. And the theme for me around closing out the year is always the same thing. I don't want to carry any extra big things on my to-do list. I don't want my desk to be messy. I want to come in at the beginning of the year ready to attack 2026. So the way that I do that, believe it or not,
A few years ago, Tony Robbins helped
Oh
Serena
God.
Williams break through a mental slump and return to
Sorry,
championship
guys.
form.
I
it
don't
starts
take
in my closet.
for
I go in
YouTube.
my closet every day. What I like to do is if I pick out a garment or a piece of clothing and I'm 50-50 if I should keep it or not, I'm always like, someone else probably needs this more than me. So you want to get your closet super organized. Then I go down to my desk. I want a clean desk going into 2026. I don't want messy papers. I wanted everything organized. So I take a little time, I declutter my desk, and I get organized. I do a digital detox. I literally go like this, delete all. I want to get my inbox to 0. And then lastly, one thing that I've been doing for the last 25 years that's really helpful, at the end of the year, I write handwritten letters. I literally make a list, almost like a thank you list, to the people that have helped me or influenced me or had an impact on me in 2025. and I write them a handwritten note. People don't necessarily read all their DMs. They might not read their emails. They might have an assistant that screens stuff. Everybody reads their letters. So I carve out about 2 or 3 hours at the end of the year. I write 20 to 30 thank you letters to people who have made a difference this year in my life, lick a stamp, put them in an envelope, and put them in the mailbox. And the response that I get from those letters is overwhelming. I mean, I've been doing that literally since I'm in my 20s. To this date, people still come over to me and they're like, I got your letter, thank you so much. And those letters are always one way. Hey, Jimmy, man, thank you so much for having me on your podcast this year. There are 8 billion people in the world, and you chose me to be on your podcast. I just wanted to thank you so much. That was one of the highlights of my year. Hoping you guys have a great, healthy, happy new year and an amazing 2026 in the mailbox. Send them out. The more, the merrier. It's a great marketing tool, a great networking tool, makes the recipient feel great, and it makes you feel accomplished and good about sending it. Write those handwritten letters. And then last thing before we get ready to figure out how we're gonna actually dominate the year, just getting rid of the housekeeping stuff. This is an amazing exercise that I use to help me identify what I have to fix in the upcoming year. So you guys can do it with me real quick. Just imagine you had a huge blender, like you were gonna make a smoothie in a blender, and you put all the buckets of your life in the blender. Your finances, your weight, your relationships, your happiness, where you live, everything goes in the blender. And you shake it up. And then on a scale of 1 to 10, with 10 being like unbelievable and 1 being rock bottom, where are you on a 1 to 10? Where are you? And give yourself an honest answer, like in life, all the things go in a blender, like am I a 7, am I a 2? Where am I in the happiness scale? Now, what I love about this exercise is when you put everything on a blender and go 1 to 10, where am I on the happiness meter? Immediately your brain goes to the 2 or 3 things that pull you from a 10 to whatever your number is. So maybe if it happened to you, you'd be like, oh, it's my finances, it's my relationship, it's my weight. Whatever popped into your head, those are the things that you have to work on in 2026. So no matter how much money you make, no matter how successful you are, if you don't fix the 2 or 3 things that popped into your head, you're still gonna stay at a 7, at a 6, at a 5. So that's a great tool to identify what you have to work on and fix in 2026. All right, next, let's get into the meat and potatoes of this. So we've gotten light, but now we actually have to plan an amazing year. So what I found is that most of the people listening to this probably play life on defense. Their calendars fill up with other people's requests for our time. We get bombarded with Zoom calls and doctor's appointments and meetings, and at the end of the year, like, we have no time for ourselves. Like, what do we even have to show for it at the end of the year? I flip that model upside down. I play life on offense. If you do these 3 things, your life will get way better. So the first thing that I do every year is called the misogi. There's an old Japanese ritual called the misogi, and the notion around a misogi is you do one big year-defining thing every year. So if I was gonna ask you, like, what'd you do in 2015? What'd you do in 2023? What'd you do 8 days ago? You probably couldn't tell me. But it's really important at the end of the year to have one big, like, giant year-defining, you have to have something to show for the year. So for me, in 2015, I wrote a book called Living with a Seal. In 2016, I launched a company called 29029. A couple of years ago, I rode my bike across America. Last year, I did rim to rim to rim with my friends. Like, you wanna have one big year-defining thing. So think about in 2026, like, what's that one thing that's gonna be truly year-defining for you? It could be, I'm gonna run a marathon. It could be, I'm gonna launch a podcast. Maybe you're gonna stop smoking. I don't know. But you wanna have one really big thing that defines 2026. So the next thing I do is called Kevin's Rule. It's named after my friend Kevin. Kevin and I were on a trip with our 2 kids. His daughter was, I think, 8 at the time. My son was 7. And we went to Mount Washington in New Hampshire in the winter. And we camped out in the snow. It's like freezing outside. We're in a sleeping bag. There's no one around. I turned to Kevin. I'm like, Kev, there's 8 billion people in the world. We are the only people at Mount Washington. Like, this was such a good idea. Kevin is a police officer, one of the happiest guys I ever met. I'm like, how often do you get to do stuff like this? Every year since I graduated college, I take a trip every other month that I normally wouldn't have done. I'm like, what do you mean? He's like, I just go to like a little, instead of watching the Georgia football game, I'll go camping with my daughters, or maybe I'll go swim in the ocean. I'll just take like a little mini adventure one day every other month. I'm like, why? He's like, well, then I know I have like 6 little mini adventures every year. I'm like, that's amazing. I want to take 6 mini adventures every year. I go, well, why do you do that? He goes, because if you're 30 years old and you live to be 80 and you take 6 mini adventures every year, that's 300 mini adventures you wouldn't have taken. I'm like, I'm doing that. And I'm naming it Kevin's Rule. A lot of people's knee-jerk reaction is like, well, I don't have the money for that. That's so expensive. No, I've been doing stuff like this since I'm 21 when I was sleeping on my friends' couches. I would go to the polar plunge in Coney Island, free. The trip that I took to Mount Washington with Kevin cost $18 to park, plus a sleeping bag. I mean, this country affords us trails, rivers, hikes, oceans, there's marathons, there's races where entry fees are $30, $40. Like, there's things that you can do that don't cost a lot of money that can move the needle. So look and think about those type of activities. And then the third thing I do is I add a winning habit every quarter. We're all products of winning habits, winning routines, and a winning mindset. And if we're constantly layering in better habits, better routines, we're just gonna get better by definition. So instead of resolutions, this works much better for me. Every quarter, I add a winning habit. That could be, I don't drink enough water. I'm gonna add I'm gonna drink 100 ounces of water every day. I'm gonna add a 10-minute a day meditation practice to my life. I'm never gonna be late for a meeting. But if I could add 4 winning habits every year, 6 Kevin Rule trips, and a Misogi, unbelievable. So I've been doing that for a really long time, and I've built an incredible life resume with that. And the reason is, if you don't plan it, it won't happen. So how do we plan it? That's what I'm gonna show you how to do next.
Ladies, how come we're taught to get a 9 to 5, but nobody taught us about the secret 5 to 9?
Planning is so important. I've already planned out my entire 2026. It's fully baked and it is insane. So this is my entire year on one single piece of paper. This is the big ass calendar that we sell. And I have my whole year baked out. I have everything color coordinated. This is a dry erase calendar, by the way. I have my speeches and work in purple, my races and adventures in green. I have birthdays in yellow. I have holidays and trips in orange. I think it's really important to prioritize yourself. So anything that you know that you want to do, any races, weddings, concerts, sporting events, anything fun, put it down on the calendar first. Work is always going to fill in. But if you put the things that you want to do on your calendar first, you're guaranteed to have an epic year. Now, I get the permission to say no to things that I don't want to do. I prioritized me. And the reason why I love putting it on a calendar like this, one, it's super visual. We're all visual humans. We see in pictures, we see in images. It's color coordinated. I can track where I'm spending my time. I can track where the gaps are in my time. I can track towards certain goals easily by seeing the dates. I'm super organized, and at the end of the year, this is the most honest autobiography of my life. I'm gonna roll this up, keep it in my closet. In 20 years from now, I'm gonna show my kids, I'm like, this is what I did in 2026. These are the trips that we took. These are all the things that we did in 2026. The more you can bake your 2026 calendar now, in November, in December, in January, then all you have to do is follow the script. I'm not saying you shouldn't be spontaneous. Of course I have room to be spontaneous. I'm not saying that things don't change and you can move the stickers around. Of course things change. But if you don't have a plan and you're not planning newness, where in the world is it gonna come from? In 2026, play life on offense, be aggressive, putting down the things that you want to do, and you'll get them done. Oh, if you want one of these calendars, just click the link in the description or go to thebiggestcalendar.com. Also, the link below,
hey guys,
10%
sorry.
this calendar, and it's
Okay. Was that exciting? Are you guys excited to plan your year? Okay, cool. So often what works for me, I don't know if you guys ever have this experience, but sometimes when I have to do really hard things, I need other people around me doing them also. And so I kind of thought we could use this space as just some intentional like space holding. So I'm gonna maybe give you guys, who is this video by Jimmy? No. The video is, I forget what company. He's married to the Spanx founder, the girl who founded the Spanx, Sarah Blakely. His Jesse Eitzler is his name, and he's, I don't know, they were both billionaires when they met. And he's just like this really crazy guy with lots of ideas. Um, and yeah, he's got good ones. Also, the calendar that I have that I found for you guys on Facebook is like $12. So his big ass calendar is like 50. Anyway, do you guys want do you guys want to share some of your like, do you want me to share? I did this with my business forum and it was really helpful for me to, it was really helpful when everybody went around and they shared some of their things, some of their wins, some of their misses, and some of their adventures and their mini habits. Do you guys want to do that first to get ideas, or would you rather work on them and then share them? You can either type in the chat or unmute yourself. Oh,
So Brittany, it's
yeah.
Daphne.
Hi.
Daphne in Seattle. I think it would be great to have some general ideas. When I first watched this, when it first came out, I was really disappointed with myself in 2025. So I spent a little bit of time beating myself up because this is a new concept. I've had some years of kind of survival mode.
Yeah.
And so I'm really excited about getting ideas from other people about how to be intentional as a business owner, small business owner, where the buck stops with you all the time. It's
Yep.
really hard to think about playing offensively and putting yourself and your fun on a calendar first. That's just like
Is it?
it's totally opposite of what my personality does. Mine is like
Oh, that's interesting.
responsibility and get there and everybody
Oh,
else comes first. So
well,
I'd love to hear some ideas.
okay. Yeah, that was really interesting. As I was reviewing this, one of the things that didn't work for me was ever since I moved to Austin, I we knew that it gets really hot here during the summer, and I moved here with one of my best friends, and she had a baby this year, and it did not work for me to not leave for the summer. I was so pissed. I was so angry. Every time, like the sun was just like aggravating my skin. And so, I think often, so for 2026, I put on the calendar ahead of time, this is the month that I'm going to be gone. This is when I'm going to leave for the summer. So often it's not so much about beating yourself up. It's just more about like, okay, that didn't work out the way that I planned. How can I plan better for 2026 and then make sure it happens? So does anybody want to share? Bridget, do you want to share a couple things?
Sure, I'd be happy to. I think I watched the video yesterday, so I've been
Cool.
thinking and thinking and thinking ever since then what I wanted to do. And I was kind of surprised by some things that came up when I was jotting down a few things during today's video. And so I was surprised for 2025, I was a 7 on the happiness scale. It really hits.
Awesome.
I was surprised it was as high as it was, but you know what? I've been working on myself and making sure I always put family first for a really long time. So even though, my husband dropped the bomb 2 months ago about, he had cheated and now I'm making plans to, disengage from him, that kind of was just, it's surprising because it's a blip on the radar if I look at
Wow.
everything full scale, right? Okay, so that was surprising. I was like, well, okay then. And then for 2026, I'm going to be saying goodbye to, oh, this is making me so emotional. Goodbye to
Mm,
energy and people that no longer align.
mm, mm.
Sip, but it's going to be healthy. And
Yeah.
then for 2026, I want my happiness scale to be a 10 because I know it's achievable.
Mm.
I just feel it.
Bridget, when you filled out the categories, which ones were the lowest for you? You were
Probably
a combined,
finances.
you were a combined 7?
I was combined 7, and part of that was because of finances.
Finances.
Finances are that's something I'll have to get elevated next year too.
Yeah.
And my closet clean out, even before that video, it's already been in progress. So I was happy about that. My misogi is to recharge and reconnect.
I love that.
And then
How will you know you've done that? At the end of 2026, how will you know that you've recharged and reconnected? I like really clear goals. Like if I do XYZ, that means I will have achieved my goal.
I don't know.
I would work with ChatGPT. Maybe once we're going around to some other people, work with ChatGPT and ask it to help you clarify exactly what
Fine
you
tune my misogi.
find
Okay,
in your
okay.
misogi. Yeah.
And then I've already bought tickets for my first mini vacay in January in California with my cousin slash bestie. And then my weekly habit is going to be weekly meditation. I'm going to like put it on my schedule because I really get a lot of clarity when I do that. So that's going to be my
Mhm.
new habit.
Is that so? There's 4 quarters. Is that for the first quarter? You're going to
No,
do
I'm just going to do it weekly.
okay. Okay. I
And as
think
far as
the idea with the habits is that every quarter you add a new one.
I don't know what the other quarters are going to be yet. I've
Okay.
only like gotten the first quarter, and that's going to be a weekly thing that I'm doing. So
Oh,
I
just weekly, not
still work.
daily. I was thinking daily when you said that.
Yeah, no, I know I know I can't do it daily, but weekly definitely a yes. So that's what I have so far. It's a work
Awesome.
in
Thank you
progress.
for sharing. Thanks,
Yeah.
Bridget. Does anybody else want to share? All right, Cindy.
Okay, well, I'm new to all this and I didn't do this last year, but I just thought I'd share one thing about the closet thing is I have a walk-in closet in a 1960s house. So, it was kind of cool for back then, but it's not like some huge thing or whatever. But I had a girlfriend come over and help me clean out my closet. Like we went through every piece of clothing. I gave a ton away, and I'm not even a big, huge clothes person. I cleaned the shelves and I was shocked at how much that made a difference for me. Like when I would walk into my closet, it was like my happy place. I just felt like stress, went away. And it's
Yeah.
so weird because we're always trying to, either declutter or clean or whatever. And I
Yeah.
actually didn't know I'd feel that way about the closet, but it was like one of my favorite places in the house. So
Oh,
I don't know. I just wanted to encourage I don't have this set up for next year or whatever, because this is the
yeah.
first time I really listened to this, but I just
Yeah.
thought
Cindy,
I'd
feel
share.
free.
It was so transformative.
Cool.
And so I'm trying to work on other areas too, but it's slow. So
Awesome. Awesome.
anyway,
Do you want to share any mini adventures that you are looking forward to?
well, I have I guess a bigger adventure. I'm going to Mexico in February. Last year, we have friends who, when their second son went to college, they sold their house and are living in an RV and traveling, and they've been doing it for like 8 years. So they go down to Mexico, and we hang out with them, and their uh, RV, and it's just we go to this little town, and it's really campy and fun, and there's a lot of people there that we play pickleball. It's relaxed. We walk into the town. There's chickens, and you know, it's a great place. It's a very small little town, and we have sort of fallen in love with that. So we're going in February for that.
That
Um,
sounds very fun.
anyway, but as far as little trips, I don't, have any of those sort of planned yet.
Yeah. Okay, cool. Well, you can feel free to work on it for the rest of the class and share it
Yeah,
with us
this
for
is
next
a
week.
this is a neat thing. So thanks for sharing the
Yeah.
video.
Yeah, of course. Okay, Linda.
Okay, I bought a book earlier this year on decluttering, and so I cleaned out my closet, I cleaned out my chest of drawers, I learned a new way to fold things. The author of the book said to take everything out of your closet and to pick it up, look at it, and say, does this bring me joy?
Oh, yeah,
Does
I've
this
done
make
that one.
me happy? If it
Yeah,
doesn't make you happy, either you put it in the trash or you donate it, but don't put it back in your closet.
Yep.
And I'm like the Cindy a while ago, or I believe it was Cindy. Yeah, it really feels good to do that. So
Mm,
yeah, so I do have to do that to my office. Yeah, I will be adding that to my list for the office. But yeah, I did that. This year I started. I get up every morning and I try to think of something in gratitude, but I always say, today is a day of joy. Today I
mm.
choose a day of joy.
How long
So,
have you been doing that, Linda?
uh, a few months, a couple months, I'd say, two,
Have you
maybe
noticed,
three.
have you noticed it make a difference?
Oh gosh, yes, your day goes so much better. It's so much smoother.
I love
Yeah,
it.
it makes a big difference because you're not falling into something negative.
Yeah, I know. You know what? This year I've been looking for ways to tap without having to focus on the problem because I've been having that awareness too. You know, you guys, I've been tapping since I was 15 and I'm kind of tired of focusing on my problems. And I do think at a point when you've done enough tapping on the negative things in your life, that the results don't give you the results. Don't compound the way they do when you first start tapping or for like, you know, the first 5 years of tapping. And so, yeah, I have found a positive way to tap where, yeah, I feel like it sets me up to have a much better day. And because I'm focusing on the positive, I'm not having to like hunker down and I don't know, rile myself up with the negativity. So I love that,
Yeah,
Linda.
yeah,
Thank you.
it does help. It's good. It's a
Yeah.
good one. Um, for next year, I want to eat healthier. Um, I started a yoga today, but I made
How
15
will you
minutes.
know what's your big misogi for for next year?
I don't know yet.
Okay. Is
I
it
don't,
something
I'll
around
have,
weight or is it something around health?
I think eating healthier. Um, I met someone about 2 months ago, but with the holidays and all, we haven't seen each other much. So I'm hopeful that that'll be something, but
Nice.
it's not something I know is going to happen for sure.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay. So,
But yeah, um, yeah, make more friends. I think I've got
hmm.
that on my list.
Well, you're in the right spot for that.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah,
Awesome. Thanks, Linda.
yeah.
Yeah, part of I think what's cool about sharing these mini adventures is I love when Cindy was talking about going down to Mexico. I'm going to every year I go shopping in Barcelona. You guys, I think you guys know I used to live there, and one of my best friends is a she's a stylist, and she really helped me figure out what my style is. And I've found that the clothes are so much higher quality in Europe and they fit me better and they last longer and they're way less expensive. And so it kind of feels like this really fancy thing to go do. But I hired my friend and she takes me out to all these like cool little boutiques. And I end up spending like, I don't know, maybe €1,000 or something. And I have an entire year's worth of new clothes. Last year, I think we spent half of that on luggage. But it feels really fun to have that experience. And so I planned that for myself. But I think it's cool to like share the ideas that you guys have because then it can give us ideas, or you guys can make friends with each other and go with each other on these trips. I know so many women share that they meet their friends and they go on trips together through this program. So does anybody else want to share?
Sure, I will.
Hi.
One thing that I have planned for 2026 with my sister is we're going to get together. My dad, who passed away in 2019, was a huge photographer, and we have probably like 15 or 20 boxes of photos that he took of us when we were kids or just other family members. And our plan is to get together for a week and just go through and look at through all those old memories and old
Oh,
photos and like reminisce about when we were kids or family members that are, have already passed or something like that. So I'm looking forward to that.
That's nice. Do you want to share? Do you have any notes about what worked and what didn't work in 2025?
Um, I have definitely prioritized in the morning. I feel like this works really well for me. I have 2 or 3 different meditations that I listen to while I walk in nature. And I do that pretty much every morning. And I feel like that has helps me start the day very grounded.
Mm,
And I like the fact that I do it while I walk because it's kind of like I walk my dog and I live in an apartment, so I have to take her for a walk anyway. So it's kind of like I'm also getting something done, but I'm actually getting in that meditation and kind of like tuning in and channeling, I don't know, good feelings and good vibes as a
mm.
good way to start my day. So I feel like that's been really good for me.
That's a habit that you're going to take into 2026?
I'm
Sounds,
definitely continue that. Yeah.
yeah, cool. Awesome. Thank you for sharing.
Yeah.
I noticed one of the things that didn't work for me was not having food boundaries. I'm turning 45 this next year, and I got to the point where I could pretty much just eat whenever I wanted. And I noticed this year I needed to come up with some food boundaries, and that has actually been really, really good. I also figured out a way to eat more slowly and more intentionally that didn't feel like boring. So I feel like sometimes when things don't work, what I noticed about my list of things that didn't work is what came from it. Often it came with some sort of aha moment or realization or correction that brought me way more than the thing that I tried. Another example of that is I started 2025 by hiring this dating coach because I was determined that I was going to go on dates, and she was a matchmaker, and I didn't want to like do all the apps and all the things. And once I got into the program, she was like, actually, I don't want to be a matchmaker anymore, so I'm not going to match you with any guys. I'm like, wait, what? That's the whole reason I'm doing this. But she's like, well, I have these really cool events that you can come to. And I was like, oh. And so I was like, okay, I'll try it for this quarter. Because I was also new to Austin, and I was still trying to make friends here. And she invited me to these events. And and this is how I think I've shared with you guys how I got over my social anxiety last year. That was one of the reasons that I had to tap on my social anxiety, was because she kept inviting me to these parties and these events. And I was so stressed before I was going. And I'd never realized how stressed I was. Also, I haven't lived in America or gone to like American parties for 10 years. So I just had no awareness that that I had social anxiety. So while the dating thing didn't work, I went on lots of dates, but I didn't find my soulmate. The investment in that program really paid off in ways that were super unexpected. Okay, Marlene, go ahead and unmute. I can't unmute you, Marlene.
There we
There
go.
you go.
Well, I'll go with what didn't work. And what didn't work was trying to fix my health without medication. And I
Mhm.
have chronic low back pain with sciatica. And I finally gave in about 2 months ago to taking this nerve inhibitor, gabapentin, because I was so in such chronic pain all the time that I couldn't function. And
Mm,
I just thought that was the way my life was going to be. And I really didn't want to get on prescription, but I finally gave in. And since
yeah.
then, I can move, which is just, it's just been a blessing in disguise that I can
Oh,
get around. And
awesome.
so that's one thing I realized I need to do is I just need to stay on the nerve inhibitors so that
Mm,
I can have a life. And
yeah.
yeah, that was very depleting.
Lower
And
back pain is horrific. I have scoliosis, and I always had low back pain until I did 2 years solid of yoga. And I've never had back pain ever since. I don't know if you've
wow,
tried yoga at all, but Yeah, one of my other friends actually broke her back and then healed it through yoga. And she just goes to really gentle yoga. You don't have to do
I
this.
could give that a try.
Yeah.
I long hauled truck for like 30 years,
Oh,
and the big difference is I stopped doing that at the end of 2024. Is I'm around town now, and I started tutoring elementary kids, which is really fun for me to do.
that's
I need to get some more students, which won't shouldn't be that hard to do. But I'm around town now, so I can do things. So I got
cool.
into water aerobics this summer at a pool really close to me, and that was really beneficial and fun. And
Awesome.
I started attending a church on a regular basis, and I got quite a few friends from that. So that's
Ooh, I love that
really
idea.
nice.
I've actually been thinking about going to church too. They've got a lot of cool non-denominational churches here.
Yeah. And so it's been really fun because I do different events with the ladies, cooking in the chaos course, and it's just fun to be around some people my age and different ages too. But anyways, my cat's trying to walk across my paperwork.
Okay.
Um, I anyways, so allowing myself to en enjoy things that are weekly is really fun for me. I like the
Mm,
yoga. I like the thought of some yoga, and I want to attend all these meetings, right? I like I
sure.
mentioned, I re-signed up for the 6 month course. So
Yeah.
because I missed so many before, anyways,
Yeah.
I'm very dedicated to attending these meetings and a lot more tapping. I
Cool.
I decided that I was gonna part with a couch that I've had my furniture for like 30 years and it's all like in new shape, right? And I hate
Yeah.
to get rid of stuff, but I'm realizing that I have to move a lot, it seems
Yeah.
anyway, and I'm just tired of packing the weight. And so I did not want to get rid of my couch, so I actually tapped last night on getting rid of it. And the memories I had with it and you know
Oh,
the the importance and how I didn't want to let go of it
yeah.
and how it was going to go to a better place and
Oh,
he
I
said
love
if
that.
it's going to lighten my load for no matter what, it'll make more
Yeah.
space and all that. So I never thought I'd tap on a couch before, but it
I
it
love
really
that.
it really helped.
It's
So
very permissive.
yeah, so
Yeah.
anyways, yeah, but I'd love to get my weight down this year so that I can get rid of all my 2 and 3X clothes, which I've kept clothes for many years. So
So I want to challenge you, Marlene, to come up with a well-defined mission. Like at the end of December 31st, 2026, I will XYZ, whatever that is.
okay,
Okay.
I'll think on that, Brittany.
Okay. Okay.
Thanks for your time.
Thanks for sharing. Yeah.
You're welcome.
Does anybody else want to share? If you guys have been working away, Daphne, have you been just watching or?
Well, I've been listening to people and I think the main thing that I need to work on is being committed to not feeling rigid to being organized. Does that make sense? That the organization can kind of stymie me. I'm not organized enough, so therefore I can't take a step. It's kind of a weird thing. I get a lot done, but I feel like I've got all these things hanging out all the time. And so
Okay.
I feel like if I could just peel off some of the things that don't give me joy and focus on that and be clear about, because I have a lot of things that I want to do in 2026. And then I
So
look at,
Daphne, what if you put those down on your calendar first? I love what he said about planning for yourself first and then letting work and the other commitments fill in the gaps rather than the reverse.
yes, yes,
Also, I have a sense that you are like kind of frozen. You're like a little overwhelmed and frozen. And so I think just some like easy light tapping on like, I feel so overwhelmed. I have all these things I have to do. I don't know where to start. Maybe something like that. I think could, like maybe like an anger light, like a tap and bitch, like what you guys did with Annette last week.
mm-hmm,
Yeah.
mm-hmm. Yeah, I think you're spot on. It's a little bit of frozenness
Yeah.
and a little bit of overwhelmed. And at the same time, I'm just like, let it all be, Daphne. Just let it be. Just
Yeah.
be.
Yeah. Yeah.
So I think
Well,
you're spot on.
yeah. Yeah. Good. Okay. Awesome. Who else wants to share? Oh yeah, go ahead, Robin, unmute yourself. I was gonna look at my list. Okay, can I share my list? Or can I share my misogi? It's actually really hard, and I feel sick to my stomach telling you guys this because it's a really difficult edge for me. Okay, so in 2026, I'm committed to visibility. I don't do social media. I don't do podcasts. Really, the only way people find out about me is through my challenge. And we spend a lot of money on finding you guys so that you take my challenge. So, um, for better visibility and um, for just like having a social media presence, I am committed. How did I say this? In 2026, I've become a highly visible, in demand voice in my space by building podcast authority and social media reach, culminating in appearances on 3 top-tier podcasts by December 31st, 2026. So I'm committed to doing basically to use this year as a practice run for my podcasts. Thank you guys. And to kind of work out what works, what doesn't work. I'm not used to speaking about psychology and science. I'm used to speaking about weight loss blockers and kind of like in marketing, the way that like most people understand it. It's really easy for people to understand. But I think on podcasts, I need to share more about the science and actual psychology. So that feels like a big edge for me. I'm also going to start to talk about GLPs. I don't know, a lot of you guys weren't here on the last call, but I asked, or on the Q&A call, I asked to stick around and have and discuss the GLP epidemic that's hitting America or the world. And so I'm going to start to bring that conversation into what I teach. So anyway, that feels really hard. I'm going to be doing a shit ton of tapping this year. But one of the things that did work for me was hiring this girl to interview me to for my coach certification. That has really, really helped. And what I realized as she was interviewing me, because we decided not to make it just about weight, we decided to make it for really any problem. What I realized through her asking me all these amazing questions is that I use the same process that I used for weight and to overcome weight loss blockers and to get to the root cause for really any problem. So, the visibility goal that I set for myself this year, I'm going to have to do a shit ton of tapping on myself in order to feel comfortable stepping into this new level. So anyway, thanks for letting me share that. I felt sticky and edgy. A lot more tapping to do, clearly. Okay, Tiffany.
Hello. Brittany, you mentioned GLP medication.
Yeah.
It's an interesting topic for me. I was on a GLP medication and I lost, I think to 20 kilos, 40 pound. And
Yeah.
then unfortunately, my body was saying, no, you can't be on this. I had some blood work done and my doctor said, okay, no, that's the end of that. Sorry, you can't be on that anymore. And so I then incrementally put all the weight back on plus a few kilos, which I anticipated was probably going to happen. And so I'm very, very curious about you talking about GLP-1s, and it's also the reason why I'm getting to the root cause of this situation. So there's reasons why I put the weight back on in terms of life challenges. My son's now also on a GLP medication and it's not working for him at all. So I just have a curiosity about it. And so I think I'm all ears, really. I mean, I don't want to go back on GLP medication, and I don't think it's actually the necessary answer. But because I've got a lived experience with it, I'm sort of waiting for the penny to drop with people on GLP medications and what happens post medication, if there is a post medication for someone and they
Totally.
do go off it. So I've just got this really, really quite interesting curiosity about the whole thing.
Yeah. Yeah, great. Thank you for sharing. Yeah, I got some really good ideas from the last Q&A. And I think you're in the right place. Like if you found me, that my solution is get to the root cause. You won't have
Yeah.
the same problem, right? Um, so, yeah, I think it's interesting, or I think it's kind of weird to think about shooting yourself with a chemical just so that you don't overeat the cookies, like until you're 80 or 90 years old. Are you still going to be shooting yourself with a
Yeah,
chemical? But
exactly.
it just that doesn't make sense to me. So I am going to use that topic as a way to get on podcasts. And obviously my program is the solution, or my challenge is the solution. So, Robin.
Okay, so for me, what works is one of the things that has really worked about tapping, and I'm not sure that I kind of still cherish my fat in some ways. It's still
Okay.
it's still doing, what it's been piled on for years, but the tapping is really wonderful, and I have discovered things that were unconscious issues,
Mm.
and they are things that I kind of knew they were there, but I didn't want to look at. And so now I've looked at them. Buddhism is working for me. Friendships are working for me. I don't know if this is my misogi for 2026, but I'm really having attention about moving. Like I want to move like out of the country. And of course that means
I
really,
thought you meant like exercising, moving out of the
oh
country.
no,
Ooh,
no,
topic.
I'm
This is
going to
my
keep
favorite
swimming.
topic.
Yeah, no. I swim like, 3 miles a week, or 3 to 4 or 5, whatever.
Awesome.
And I do ceramics, and I do drawing and sketching, and I mean, I do things that I like doing, but I'm thinking of, should I stay in Baltimore? Should I move back to San Francisco? That's where my daughter is, and that's where I lived for like 40 years. Should I give it up and just go to Europe? Because to me, everything here is a little nutty right now,
It
and
is.
it's making me a little worried. So I'm giving myself like a period of time to just be unsure and
Mm.
let the options bounce up and down. So I I should be doing this in pencil instead of pen. But yeah. Yeah.
Oh, I love that idea. Where are your top options for Europe?
Well, I like Portugal and Spain, although I also, I like Finland. I mean, but
Me too.
it's harder to get into the cold countries, the cold. So I have no idea. I also love Mexico, and I just, I don't know. I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Cool.
It's also hard to think of doing it by myself, because most people who make these choices, they have a pal to do it with, or yeah.
Well, all the millennials, we're living with each other now. We don't feel like we need to have a romantic man partner to do everything with. And so, I really love when I see you guys traveling with each other and going places together, because I really think that's what it's all about. In my 30s, I don't know if I've ever told you guys this story, but in my 30s, I realized that all of my friends were dating so that they didn't end up alone. And it was so weird to me, because I've never had that fear. I don't know why. I never had the fear that I was going to end up alone, and I never had the fear that I needed to get married and have kids. Like I don't know if I missed that conversation in my house, or my mom just never brought it up, but it just never occurred to me. So, so I made this idea that we're going to have a lady mansion. So I told all my friends, I said, listen, when we're older, I'm going to have a lady mansion, and you can all move in with me. And we're going to have the lady mansion here, and we're going to have the man mansion over here, and we're going to have a pool in the middle of them. And we're going to have gay men to wait on us, to serve us. We're going to have housekeepers to clean up after us. And we are going to have a fund, an investment fund, and we're going to invest in young people's businesses. So it's going to keep our brains sharp. And I swear to God, you guys, this idea caught on like wildfire. We probably have like 10 girls signed up for the Lady Mansion. My friend and I bought condos next to each other in Mexico. They're little tiny condos, but we're right next door. We're calling it the Lady Mansion 1.0. And we just have 4 bedrooms at this point. But I swear to God, all of my friends started dating differently once they had a retirement plan. And my two best friends, we will die together. I know that for a fact. We will die. These are the two girls that I taught tapping to. And yeah, I love this idea. And you've seen on social media now, you've seen people coming together and living in communities and women raising children with their friends instead of a man. So I am a huge proponent of that, Robin. I think it's awesome. And I think there's a lot of women like you that would love to live overseas and do it with a friend.
I need to find more adventurous friends. I'm already, so
Oh,
this year I turned 72 and I already, I'm dragging my friends to rock concerts at night. So it's like I'm not sure, but I'll go with you. Okay. So yeah.
you need younger friends. I think you need younger friends, Robin.
Yeah.
Maybe.
Well, that's why I joined the Potters Guild so that there are younger people, but there's a thing there. It's gonna take me a while to worm my way in.
Yeah.
Yeah. But I mean, even younger, I like little kids. I like sort of, I call it the anarchy of youth. I think it's wonderful. So, but
Love
anyway,
that. I love
thank
that. I
you.
love that you're from San Francisco too. That's where I grew up. I
Yeah,
lived
it's
in the city
great.
for 7 years. Yeah.
Yeah.
Cool. All right. Anybody else want to share? Let's see, what were some of my other, let's see, I started doing YouTube this year, but it didn't work. And I wasn't super, and then Bella passed away and my social media company was messing up on things. I hired somebody to work for me full time and then found out that she wasn't working full time. That did not work. What did work was the transition with the coaches. That has worked really well. That's really lit me up. Oh, walking. I think we talked about this last Q&A. The walking pad under my desk. That has been the biggest win and the easiest way for me to get my steps this year. Holy shit. Oh, and then I also found I keep a list. I don't know if you guys do this, but please start doing it. I keep a list of all the things that I've tapped on. Whenever I tap on something, I just always put it on my phone and I have like Brits tapping for 2025. And most of the things you guys will tap on, you'll forget. You'll forget that you had the problem. You'll forget about. So I'm constantly doing this with my friends where we're reminding each other of the things that we tapped on because when you stop having the problem, you forget how hard the struggle was, and then you don't give yourself credit for making that change. So I completely forgot in the early part of this year when I joined that dating group, I also was working on my vulnerability and tapping on getting my needs met. I did notice this year that I have been way better about prioritizing myself over other people. So that was a huge, huge win that I wouldn't have remembered had I not been tracking my tapping. So we give you guys the 300 limiting beliefs for the work that you do with us. But if you do other tapping, like the couch tapping Marlene suggested, or, whatever tapping you do, write it down. It is so cool to look back and go, oh my God, look at all of the challenges that I overcame this year. Let's see. Some of my winning habits are my Q1. I am working on facial exercises, face yoga, fascia release. I am trying to age more gracefully. So I've found that posture exercises, fascial release, and like face yoga are really, they really help me a lot. And they really they help me feel better about myself. So that's Q1 habit. My Q2 habit is VO2 max, working on my VO2 max. I don't know if anybody has ever tested their VO2 max. It's the number one predictor of life extent, not a life extension, but how long you live. And mine was really shitty. I'm in really good shape, but my cardio was not good. So Q2 is increasing my VO2 max. Q3, and these can be changed, but Q3, I wanted to get back in the habit of writing every day and working on my book. That will probably be a 2027 Misogi. And Q4, I wasn't really sure what to put here, but one of the ideas that I came up with was reading in the morning and maybe not having a phone in the morning. Feels too hard to do right now. Um, just to give you guys some ideas, when I went around with my forum, everybody started sharing what their winning habits were, and it gave me some ideas. Okay, Marlene, do you want to unmute yourself?
Yeah. Hi.
Hi.
Something I started last year with was cold water plunging, and
Oh,
I really liked that. I was doing it in a local lake, and then I
oh,
went to a river. I need to get back into doing that. I liked
good
it.
for you. That's hard.
I preferred it in fresh water
Yeah.
because I've tried it into the cold plunge tubs. And in fresh water, you put water shoes and a toque on and gloves, and that keeps you so much warmer. I found maybe if
Mm,
you do it into a tub, like when my feet hit the water, it was just like sharp
okay.
shooting ice pains. But so I don't know if I can wear socks in that, but I'll go back to the lake anyway, since it's the beginning of
Cool.
the year. I'm going to do that. And that was really refreshing.
That's really cool. Really
Yeah.
cool. That's a great share. I have a cold plunge, but it broke, and I loved it when I was using it. I gotta get it fixed. Okay. Does anybody want to share wins since this is our last call together for the study hall? We'll have schedule for classes starting in January soon. I've got a meeting with my coaches coming up in January. We're going to put together a good schedule for you guys so that you see everything on paper. I also have a 90-day reinvention that was created out of kind of my misogi this year. I realized that I'm going to have to do a ton of tapping, and I really, really love teaching regularly. I have to work on myself a lot when I teach. And so it really kind of it keeps me in alignment with what I'm doing and what my goal is. So I will probably have some sort of inner circle or something where you can work with me more closely, not one-on-one. I do have one spot for one-on-one available, but kind of work in these smaller groups where you can get access to me every week. We'll be in a text chain together. If anybody has questions about that, I know we've heard some feedback like, oh, I don't want to have to get on a phone call with Jimmy to find out about this. I'm happy to hang on and answer your questions if you want after this call. And then I'd also love to hear your wins too. If you have any wins for like looking back on the study hall and um, maybe what you got out of it, what some of your biggest wins were with the tapping, or just like what your biggest aha moments were. I would love to hear that also. Okay, go ahead, Bridget.
First off, I just wanted to tell you, I don't know if you saw my comment in the thing, but
I
I
didn't.
I found you on Facebook and did the 7-day tapping challenge with you. On day 4, you invited Christy, and she said that she, had lost a lot of weight, but her whole life had changed, remember? So I
Yep.
kind of feel that you've already got this in the bag. I feel like you're already doing this. Do you know what I mean? I bought
Mm,
your program because of that, not
mm,
just because of the weight loss factor, but because I've been doing the program since December 5th, and this is a huge win for me. I already have such a huge sense of peace that I never thought was attainable. So I need to tell
wow.
you, you're already doing this. Your program's already reaching so many aspects. You just need to know that. And I'm
Thank
sure
you,
you do,
Bridget.
but
Thank
thank you.
you. Yeah, thank you so much for sharing that. Yes. Kenithia. Hi. Kenithia, you're unmuted.
Okay. Yeah, I just wanted to share. I had the best Christmas with my family,
Wow.
and it doesn't always go that way. And I really
Wow. That's a
had,
huge
it
win.
was really good. And I actually had a kind of a conversation with my brother that I had been putting off, and I did that. It was between Thanksgiving and Christmas, and I think that made a difference too in me being able to just show up more as myself and more at ease and in flow, and then the food was not an issue at all. It was just a beautiful time together.
Wow, that's
Yeah.
beautiful. My gosh, when was the last time
Yeah.
you had a really great Christmas like that?
I I don't remember. I don't
Mm,
remember. Yeah.
wow,
And
congratulations.
then so we do our Christmas on the 23rd. So then a lot of times Christmas Eve and Christmas Day feels really like sad and lonely and all of that, but it wasn't that way this year. I felt fine and I like did some things for myself and I just enjoyed my time and I wasn't all, you know, sad and, you know, all the things that have been in the past. So,
Beautiful.
yeah,
Beautiful. Thank you for sharing, Kenithia.
yeah, thanks.
Yeah. Lisa.
Um, I I wasn't able to make all of the calls live, but I did the throw the food away one live, and I put the food in the trash, and then later I got it out. But I watched it again, but watched it again later, and I was able to actually throw the food away. And I took the trash bag out of my house, put it in the garbage can outside, and actually was able to throw food away. And that was an amazing, huge win for me. And I've
Oh,
just seen a lot of changes in my eating habits and just not snacking all the time and not thinking about food all the time and not, obsessing about, okay, I just finished lunch, but what am I going to have for dinner? And just a lot of, I guess, peace would be the way to describe it, just around food in general. So thank you.
Congratulations, Lisa. Thank you so much. Do you think that it was a combination of all the tapping you did, or did you notice a big difference after you did the throw the food away or clean your plate?
I think that was a big one that I purchased and went through your 6-week program actually a couple of years ago. And that time I wasn't even able to put it in the trash can to begin with at all. It just, so there was but I feel like that and then the social anxiety tapping have been major breakthroughs for me this time.
Oh, so cool. That's really exciting.
I appreciate you. Thank you.
Yeah, thanks for sharing. So awesome. Sherry.
Hey. Yeah, for me, this is more of an overall change because I've been doing this for about 4 months now, so it's kind of all blends together. But I've had a very different relationship with food where it was just filling empty spaces. And I've not really had happy memories tied up with meals and social things with food. Food was either nourishing me, to keep me alive, or it was filling voids. Okay. So packing it in, stuffing it in, not just being full. Okay. So that I wouldn't feel. So, a lot of things like that. This was the most different series of holidays, Thanksgiving and Christmas, because I am changing my relationship with food, and I am seeking to not guilt myself out or do these different things to try and have a more positive feel and positive interaction with people as I'm eating. And a lot of things have been coming up and working on a lot of emotional stuff and understanding a lot of background of things. But 2 things happened recently. I noticed that I'm starting to feel the sigh a little bit. Doesn't mean I'm obeying it yet. I'm not necessarily stopping the eating, but I'm noticing it, so that's good.
Great.
And sometimes I do stop. But the second thing is, you guys are going to laugh at this.
No, we won't.
Today I woke up actually feeling hungry.
Oh,
Not
that's
empty.
a huge win.
Not empty, but hungry. And told my body, okay, I will get you some food. Instead of saying, well, hang on a little while. I'm not going to get it right yet. Just,
Yes.
So
that's a huge win, Sherry. Thank you for sharing that.
I'm feeling things.
Yes.
So this is good.
Congratulations. That's amazing. Well done. Thank you so much for sharing. So cool. Hi, Mary.
Hi there. It's great to be here. So
Yeah.
Lisa and Sherry, you guys all said everything I've been feeling this year. Wonderful stuff. The food is, the freedom from the food is just amazing. But I got a little funny thing to share. So I today I went on and I did push the food away. I've done it before, but I did it again. When it brought me to some deeper things, and I wrapped it up, and I'm sitting at my desk. I threw it away, and I had to leave quickly. I didn't think about it. Guess who got into my trash barrel? My dog.
Okay.
I can't believe that she did that. I had to laugh. I looked down and went, that's why she got into the trash barrel.
Yeah.
But the thing I wanted to say is one of the very first things that happened was I realized in this program is that I realized that I was putting a lot of my childhood issues on my husband. And I very, very early, like in August, I think it was, one of the first things I realized. And I worked on not doing that. And that if I put it on him, I didn't have to deal with it. And so by taking it back, I've been dealing with it. Well, today when I was with him and we were traveling someplace, I realized in the thing that we did with incest and big T traumas, I thought about it and I went, I don't know if my husband knows about them. Now, he was married to me when I remembered them. He was married to me when I went through years of therapy about it, and I went to lots of meetings. And I asked him, I said, did I ever tell you about any of them? And he said, no.
Oh,
I never.
wow.
And I'm working right now on telling the truth and not hiding it, because that was one of the big things with it, is that I couldn't tell anybody when it happened. And I realized that that's one of the things that I put on him. I can't tell him. And there's no way I would have recognized that without this program. So it's very scary. I'm actually shaking inside at the thought of doing that. But
Yeah.
it's not him.
Yeah.
He does not own one piece of that.
Yeah.
It's just that he's a man. And I processed this with my therapist. I processed it with my support group of women, but I never told him. I just told him I had had, bad memories, and I had had, the Reader's Digest generate just the chapter titles. I told him, I never told him. And so now I realize that I need to tell him, because I need to be, it isn't just honest. I need to break the silence.
Yeah.
So anyway,
Yeah.
that's
I'm
huge.
curious what that will do to your relationship too. I can imagine it would bring you a lot closer eventually.
Yeah, I'm terrified he's going to run away. I know he isn't, but I'm terrified he's going to run away.
That interesting.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's kind of that like don't ask, don't tell thing, and I don't know
Yeah.
if any of that is like, yeah, we're women, we deal with this. We leave the men, the men to deal with men things, women deal with women things.
Yeah.
I have some of that also.
It was really, don't tell anybody this is happening, because it's the shame of it.
Yeah.
And it's the fear that I would get hurt more by telling.
Wow.
Yeah.
Gosh, Mary, anything that shame is connected to, shame is the lowest vibrational emotion that we
Yep.
can hold. I swear everything in your life gets better when you release shame. Shame is
Yeah.
sneaky though. It's really hard to find because it's soft. It's not loud like fear and anger and sadness, right?
Yep.
Shame is kind of just always there. I found some shame for myself today that I had to tap on that had been suppressed for a long time. And it wasn't until it was bubbling up, I'm like, oh shit, this is shame. Okay. So yeah, that'll be great if you can identify the shame and tap through that.
Yeah. I'm going to write that down. Identify the
Yeah.
shame.
Yeah, identify the shame. That's like number one thing to tap on for
Yeah.
you. If I could jump in your body and do your work for you. I had that question come up over I had Christmas with my best friend, and she said, what would you do? We did these questions with each other. She said, what if you do if you were in my body for a day, what would you do? And anyway, we answered that for each other. And hers for me was, I would book the first podcast. Mine for her was, I would get on a dating app and sleep with some 30-year-olds. She hasn't had sex for 3 years, and she's so cute and good looking, and she's just, she's having some fears about getting older. So thank you
Yeah.
for sharing that, Mary. I appreciate
Okay.
your
Thank you.
vulnerability. Yeah.
Yeah.
Hi, Marlene.
Hi. A couple wins I have is one thing over Christmas. even though I ate too much, was I split cookies. And so that was a huge win because even though I wanted to try stuff, I thought, hey, I don't need the whole thing. I could even take a corner of one. So I was splitting cookies with people. So that was an advantage. I did do the putting the food in the trash a couple times, one with Ghirardelli brownies and the other time with ice cream. And eventually I took it out. But I gotta say that when I did carry them on, I haven't had the interest in Ghirardelli brownies since. And the ice cream, it just doesn't taste the same. It just doesn't
Wow.
taste creamy and good
Awesome.
like it used to. So that's really good.
That's so
And
cool.
the feedback I want to give you is I see your come up on my Facebook frequently in the 7-day challenge, and maybe I shouldn't have, but I signed up for it and I've gone through it a few times. I get about 6
No.
out of the 7 days, and
Okay.
I get a lot out of them, right? And I share it on my Facebook, and I
Oh,
tell
thank
people,
you.
you're
Thank
welcome. I tell
you.
them this is what I'm doing and it's really effective. If you want something that works really well,
Hmm.
go to this program. So that's
Thanks,
positive
Brittany.
feedback. Yeah, you're
Oh, thank
welcome.
you. Appreciate
Thanks,
that.
Brittany. You brought me miles. I really appreciate you. Thank you
Oh,
so much.
thank you guys. Thank
You're
you guys.
welcome.
Oh, that's so nice. Nice to hear good feedback. Hi, Debbie.
Mhm.
Hi,
Ooh,
Brittany. I wasn't
hi.
actually going to talk because I missed like everything with
Oh,
so much
shoot.
going on, but managed to get here tonight.
Oh,
And I've, the last time I talked to you was probably at the beginning of the year, and I was having so many struggles with even just trying to get going in the program because it was just so hard. I would start the tapping and I would literally grab something and start throwing things across the room. I mean, I just couldn't even
hard.
stand to do it.
Mm.
And I've done a lot of different modalities. I'm a animal aromatherapist, so I use the oils on me for everything. And we have a modality that you can use the essential oils to do a lot of the releasing too. And I've done a couple of those, and I tried the tapping again, and then I did a couple more, and I tried the tapping again, and I got to where I can go through the scripts. I can't do videos yet, and I can't do the guided ones, but if I'm reading it off of a paper, it doesn't bother me as much.
Because you're disassociated. But good. It's a good halfway point.
But
That's
it's made differences, you know, it's these little subtle things, and I don't have the same desire for certain things that I had before.
Yeah.
Like I will tap on, you know, wanting the salty snacks, and I get to where I don't want it then nearly as bad as what I did before.
mm.
But then 2 weeks down the line, I'm back to where I was. So I don't know if I'm just not getting to a zero or if there's more issues
You're just
underneath
doing the
it.
scripts, Debbie. That's the whole point of my techniques. That's why regular tapping doesn't work for weight loss. Yeah, it works because it helps you release the stress in that moment, so it will work temporarily, but you know what I'm after is permanent change. And so if you
Right.
want the permanent stick at the if you want the permanent change, I haven't found anything that works better than my techniques. So,
Hmm.
yeah. It's
Yeah.
hard. I know it's so hard, but it's usually just hard in the beginning. And sometimes I don't know if you had a coach, but sometimes you need somebody to hold your hand and like work with you through the hard stuff so that you
Mm-hmm.
can so that you can start to do it on your own. Often it doesn't feel safe to do it on our own in the beginning.
Okay.
So yeah,
Uh,
I
yeah.
would definitely encourage you to get a coach.
Okay.
Yeah.
I will definitely try that because I really want to get past a lot of this, but it has helped with I discovered the whole, you know, family dynamics and all of that. And like Mary was talking about the incest and things, and it was my mom still doesn't believe me. She says, well, that's what you say happened. And well,
Mm,
all of this happened when you were little, get over it. And
mm,
she's 93, and I finally quit talking to her. It's
mm,
like, you want him to control your life. You don't believe me, I'm out. I'm just done with it.
sorry.
And surprisingly, I haven't had a whole lot of anger or anything about it. I'm just done. I'm over it.
Yeah.
And I I'm not ashamed of it anymore. Maybe I am internally, but I told my friend and he's like, "Oh, did that really happen?" Yeah.
Yeah.
And I don't hide it anymore.
Yeah. That's not something, Debbie, that I would work on alone. If that's probably why this is coming up, because that's the core, it's like one of the core processes of what we do here. And so
Hmm.
if you have that and you haven't worked on it, don't try to do it alone. Do it with a
Okay.
coach. Yeah.
Okay. Okay.
Yeah. Thank you for sharing that. I'm so sorry that it's been so hard for you.
Thank you. And I want to tell you, look into block therapy.
What
It
is that?
is a modality that this woman has developed using a piece of wood to help break up the fascia. And she
Oh,
has different sizes of blocks and then a face paddle to do it for the face.
cool.
This is the baby block.
Okay.
And then there's a larger one, but it's called block therapy.
Cool. Okay, I'll look into that. Thank you. Yeah, I'm finding a lot of relief with fascial release. Okay. Anybody else have questions? Let me just read actually, I don't think I can do that. Okay, I've got the coaches in the chat. They will tell me if there's anything that I need to address. Anything I need to address right now that was in the chat, coaches? You guys are still here? Let's
Yeah,
see.
this is Casey. I think there were some questions about the 90-day program.
Oh, okay. Can
Was
you
on that.
find them?
I'm sorry.
Yeah, okay. So let's see. Oh yeah, thanks, Casey. Daphne, are you still gonna answer questions? Yeah. I'm happy to answer questions about 90-day program, you guys. Just raise your hand and unmute yourself.
Daphne here.
Hi.
So I have 3 months left of the 6 months program. Would you recommend a 90-day program on top of that and why, if you do?
Well, it depends what your goal is. What do you want to work on?
Um, the weight issue is really important to me. I need to get my finances back in track also after a divorce, and I want to work on that. I want to work on keeping things right sized. Um, being the best version of myself, attaining my 45-foot yacht by 2028, paying cash
Nice.
for it. I want to
Ooh.
live aboard, and I know it's all possible. You
Mhm.
nailed it. I'm just stuck. I need to get unstuck.
Yeah. Well, obviously I'm biased about you joining because I would love to have you in the program. I We have an option. I know Jimmy hasn't talked about it a whole lot. We have an option for unlimited one-on-one coaching. So the reason I came up with this was that when I want to get something done, I do a shit ton of tapping with my coach for 3 months usually. And we basically made that program unlimited one-on-one tapping with a coach, certified coach for Monday through Friday. So essentially, you could be tapping with a coach 5 days a week for 3 months. You will not want to hear my face or hear my voice or see my face after that. I promise you. Be like, I need a break, girl. Stop. But I think that if I were you and I had some big ass goals, that's what I would do. I think it makes financial sense. I think it's a really good offer. I don't actually know if I'll ever offer this again just because it's something we're trying. So I have to see if it like makes financial sense for me to keep offering it. I have to see if, people get really good results, which there's kind of no question that people will get the results they want. And also if you want my help in getting you to those bigger goals, that's what I'm going to be talking about. So everybody's going to set a goal for the end of the 90 days. So yours probably wouldn't be, the 45-foot yacht, but we could start to work on, okay, what are those blocks that are keeping you from achieving that, on X date? And so it's really about learning how to apply my method so that you can uplevel any area of your life. That's really the freedom and the power that I feel in my own life is that I know when I want to achieve something, I just work backwards. I go, okay, this is my goal. Now, what do I need to do to get there? And I have my whole tapping process so that I can trick my mind into believing that we've already gotten there. And I get there in very fast warp speed usually. So yeah, I don't know. I guess it just depends on if you trust me, if you like my methods, and if you want to do a shit ton of tapping. There's also an option to just come to the weekly calls. Basically, we're just going to continue these weekly calls. So we're going to have them every Monday. So the group is really small. You get to drop in with me. I think you'll meet other like-minded people. There are also people that are, willing to spend more money. So you'll meet people kind of at your level, at a higher level, which is great, I think. Most of the women that I'm friends with, I met in masterminds where we were investing in growing our businesses. These are the women that I'm now retiring with. So I just think there's like a community aspect of it, that's really cool. I'm probably going to offer after that, I'm probably going to offer an inner circle for the rest of the year. So we'll keep this going. So if this isn't the right time for you, I don't know exactly how it'll look. And I don't know if I'll have the like unlimited tapping offer. But there'll be an option to continue with me for the rest of the year if you want to do that. And then also come to Barcelona with me if you want to go on the shopping trip that I take every year with my stylist, who's just a freaking blast. So I've already booked my tickets. Would love to have some ladies join me on that. So yeah, I don't know.
When are
Does
you
that answer your
planning on
question?
starting that 90-day?
It starts next Monday, so January 5th. We will
Okay.
probably enroll until the 12th, just full transparency. I think we're at about 11 people and we're going to take 20. So if we don't get the 20 by the 5th, we'll keep enrolling until the 12th and we'll get the 20. So
Okay.
yeah.
All right. Thank you.
Yeah, you're welcome. Also, if Daphne, if you don't want to go through the interview process here, I can give you a little link. Here, I can give you a link so that you can join and pick your payment plan too. Look at this on a desktop. It's not here. I'll just put it here in the chat. There's a cart and you can pick what your level is, if you want the unlimited tapping, if you want to make it payments, or if you want to pay in full. Okay, Becca. Hey, Becca. Go ahead and unmute yourself.
Sorry, I was just looking at the link you just dropped. I am really interested in the coaching, or not the coaching, the 90-day program. I just joined your 6-month program,
Okay.
but I had already recently joined your 6-week one, and I feel like I got so much out of that
Thank you.
that the 6-week or the 6-month feels so similar. And I'm kind of already bored talking about food.
Oh, well then sounds like you're ripe for the new thing.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not saying that everything is solved by any means, but
Yeah.
I can see how I want to expand in all these other areas, and I see how effective it is. And so I guess I was just curious about that.
So did you say you want to take this certification?
That's also very interesting, but I was just asking more about the 90-day because the
Okay.
certification you're like redoing, and that's not until later.
Yeah, it's not available until the end of the year, but one of the features I forgot is that it comes with a $5,000 credit towards that. So later on in the year, if you want to certify, you can basically apply. If you join the 6K one, you can apply what you paid for the 90-day thing towards the cost of that.
Okay.
So, yeah, so I guess so are you kind of like done working on food, or you're like, I'm sorted, I know exactly what to do. Now I want to work on some other area of my life. Is that what I'm hearing from you?
No, I think there's still food stuff, but I feel
Okay.
like it was so effective with like sugar and so many other things, and so many other things in my life have already started shifting, and I want to like really take that and run with it.
Cool.
Boundaries and like being seen. That's really what I want to work on for next year, is really being seen. Similar.
Ooh, like it.
And yeah, and so I was just curious, and I'm been very successful with every morning tapping like first thing in the morning, and most of the time before I touch my phone, It's been slipping a little bit lately, but I still at least come back and do it. So
Yeah,
that's one
good.
win.
Well, I think also one of the benefits too is that we're going to have a WhatsApp group, and I think there's really a power in like checking in daily, sharing wins. Hey, this is what I tapped on today, and just having that like daily community that's right on your phone, that's easy to access. You know, right now with the way the program is, you have to log in or you have to go to Facebook, but I think having something, having a WhatsApp group with a whole bunch of women that are probably high achievers that are going after something in life. I think we'll all get ideas from each other, right? Like I can share like, hey, this is what I tapped on for visibility today. I'm just kind of exploring that for myself. So if I know you're working on that, I can, when I'm doing my own tapping, I can post it in the group and be like, hey, Becca, here's a visibility thing. Or, you know, if I think somebody else is going through something similar, I'll tag both of you guys in it. So I think it's kind of like it's going to come together. I think the benefit is coming together as a group with the same intention to up level our lives, right? And so getting together and figuring out, okay, what do I want to become in the next 90 days? And then working backwards. What blocks, what beliefs, what's the root cause that's blocking me from that? You know, all the root cause work that I do, I can do for anything. So like
Right.
if you tell me what your visibility thing is, I can probably figure out what, you know, a couple of the root causes are just by talking you through it. And so that's what having a new program will give me, is the opportunity to talk about really anything, because now we talk just about weight loss, right? And as I expand, I've kind of felt like, oh, well, I can't talk about other subjects because I'm not so much of an expert in it. But you know, I am more than anybody else on the planet. Like I've been using this in every area of my life to up level. So I can really teach you how to get whatever you want. I think it feels kind of aggressive, but that's what I've been able to do in my own life. So I feel like it's easy. And then whenever I help other people, I usually just help friends and family. I do have private clients right now, but I'm just able to figure out exactly what their problem is. Like, for instance, one of my forum mates, it's a business forum that I'm in. He has this fear. He's launching this really kind of funny product that holds a phone in the toilet, and he's like got a lot of fear around it. And we were able to figure out that his fear around that, actually the root cause was him getting made fun of in school. And we had one tapping session, and he's like, Brittany, the next week I sent everything to the designer, and he just presented it last week in our
Wow.
forum that, you know, it's going to China and it's being manufactured. So I don't know. I think also just like having the weekly check-ins, having access to me to help you kind of figure out, okay, what are the blocks? And if you're really good at tapping on your own, you don't have to do the 10K and tap every day with a coach. You can do the tapping on your own. Or if you want that accountability and just do a shit ton of tapping, you've got that option too. So I don't know. I put together the program that I would want if I was trying to up level my life. And that's always what I do. I put together the weight loss program that I needed when I was having my problem. So I'm not going to claim that it's going to be a perfect program, but I think it will give you the tools that you need, so that you can leave here and implement whatever you wanted for the rest of your life, and you won't actually need me.
Okay. Okay.
Yeah.
Thank you. Appreciate it.
Yeah, you're welcome. Okay, Grace. I
Yes.
see you're
Hi.
muted. Hi, Grace.
Yeah, I'm off camera because let's see what it was.
It's okay. No problem.
I'm just having a really bad day.
Oh, sorry.
Headaches, medication makes me sleepy, feel like shit.
Sorry,
Depression has hit again, pretty bad, pretty deep. And so
Yeah.
so I'm thinking, I'm hearing all this about up leveling life. Already signed up for the 90-day, and I'm thinking,
Oh,
shit,
cool.
I can do that. You know, like I'm feeling like this. So I'm not unaware that root causes are in this.
Yeah.
That's very clear. That's why I signed up for the 90-day. Not because of depression, but because I want to up level, and I know that there's things that are keeping me from just keeping me down. I'll just put it that way. And so I don't know what question. I don't know if I have a question. Well, yeah, that's the question. I think, God, what am I going to do if I'm depressed? And like,
Do you know what, Grace? I actually was depressed for the last 2 days, and that is something that I struggle with that I didn't realize I was struggling with until I became not depressed. Um, but I know that when I have a couple days where I'm just in bed and I cannot make myself do anything. Um, I know that there's usually shame, there's usually overwhelm, and there's anger, and that I've just been holding on to it for too long. I have a major capacity to hold a lot of emotional space inside of me. And this happened after a breakup. I never used to, because I used to just tap everything away. And then I went through this breakup with this bipolar man, or I had a relationship with a bipolar man, and it expanded my capacity to hold shit in my body. And so one of the things that I'm having a challenge with now is noticing when I need to tap. So I would I would absolutely say that having a community and having an ongoing class with women that you can check in with and that you can send a message to, hey, I'm feeling depressed today, or having that like unlimited coaching where you can jump on, you don't have to schedule in advance. You'll have options of all the different coaches and their availability for that day. So if you're having a bad day, you can get on their schedule and you can tap through it. For me, if I was depressed and I had a program like this, that would be worth the investment for me. So
Yeah, anything.
obviously I want you in the program. I know I'm biased, but
Well, I'm in it. I'm in the 90 day. I'm already in
oh,
it.
good,
I
good,
had
good.
several
Yeah, I
conversations.
really relate to the depression thing though.
I'm so glad to hear that because it's really difficult to talk to people who don't experience it.
It is so difficult. I was a high functioning depressed person. I had no idea. I built my whole business when I was depressed. I had no idea how depressed I was. Daphne's like me too.
Definitely.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I found a couple podcasts that are really great if anybody's interested. One is called Canaries in the Coal Mine. This woman, she talks about highly sensitive people and what life is like as one and has
Yeah.
been like as one. And it's really, really, gosh, they listen to somebody who I resonate with every word. That is such a relief. So I'm
Yeah.
and I'm not happy to hear that you have experienced depression even in the last couple of days, but that you can hear it.
Yeah. Yeah.
You're not saying, just go for I don't know, go for a bicycle ride or something. I'm thinking, are you fucking kidding me?
Yeah, that does not work. Okay, so you know what I was thinking today as I was tapping? I get all these downloads when I'm tapping. What I was thinking today is, part of also, like full disclosure, part of why I'm doing this is because as we're putting the coach certification together, I need to show how certain techniques work. So if you say yes to this, you also have to say yes to being on camera and allowing us to use you as a case study, or use your recording as a case study for the coach certification. So that's another thing. But if you absolutely don't want that shared, obviously you can ask me not to have it shared. But that's the
Yeah,
intent.
I had some conversations with Jimmy about that because that really oh shit. I don't know if
Yeah, yeah, yeah. So,
I'll talk to you.
there's some wiggle room if you're like, fuck no, please, I don't want that. It's not going to go out to millions of people. We're not going to use it for free. It's only going to be people that are going to invest in the coach certification. So, just so you know that they'll be qualified people. Most people that invest in this are like coaches and healers themselves and very compassionate people. So just so you know. But what I was thinking is that it's like, God, how am I getting myself out of this? And what I realized is that's when I default to regular tapping. And actually, one of the first things I'm going to teach you guys is we're going to go over how to tap in like the traditional EFT way. I know I talk shit about tapping, or regular tapping, but it's a really good backup for when you don't know what's going on. And so I did probably 3 hours of tapping on myself today. And I started peeling back the layers with traditional EFT tapping. And so I think it's really, really empowering to just understand the step-by-step process of how that works, because you can use it. Like if you don't want to go straight into anger, if you don't want to tap and bitch, if you just want to sit in your bed and be depressed, sometimes you don't have the energy to do that. You can start with where you're at. And I think at least for when you're in depression, or if you're in like a shame spiral, that's a good method to
Yeah, the shame piece. That's like a drop of red dye in a pool of water. It all becomes red. It's kind of like
Totally.
so like
Yeah.
he's soft.
Yeah.
But just a technical question. I signed up a while ago. I got the yay, glad you're in the program thing, but there's no schedule. Like,
there isn't, and mostly that's because we've been at Christmas. We've been on like
oh, right.
holiday, and half my team has been on break.
Of course.
So we have a meeting tomorrow at 4, and so we're going to talk through the details on that, and we'll put together the WhatsApp group and all of that. But we're still kind of enrolling for it. So if you could just be patient with me on that, that would be.
And I'd like to just put a word out. I've had several conversations with Jimmy. He'll listen to anything. And I found that, and I only did, partly because I really like talking to him, we didn't talk, but I don't know.
He's very empathetic.
Yeah. And he gets it, and he really gets it. So
Yeah. I listened to some of his calls and he wasn't explaining the program very well. I think mostly because he doesn't really know what it is. So that's why I'm like, you know what, I'm just going to do a Q&A call and answer the questions that you guys have.
Yeah.
So yeah, if you don't want to talk to him, or if you do want somebody to talk to you in more detail, I'm probably giving you a lot more detail than he will give you, mostly because I kind of sprung it on him, and we wrote the emails, and I get it was kind of confusing.
Yeah, but what he was able to give me, I think I've mentioned it before, a couple metaphors and that showed me through the world of metaphor what this is really about. And it's about those, in that metaphor, it's the invisible fences that you can't see. Why I don't go in that direction, because I get bunged by the electrical fence as a metaphor. Like, oh, I'm not going to go in that direction. Oh, I'm not going to go in that direction. Oh, I'm not. I'm
That's
just
a
going
good
to
analogy.
yeah. So for me, that's what really brought me in, was just knowing,
Good.
okay, this is what this is about. Yes, I
Yeah.
want to lose weight, and yes, ice cream and stuff like that, but it's really that.
Great.
Yeah.
Great. I'm excited that you're going to be in, and
Yeah,
look
thank you.
forward to helping you more deeply.
Thank you.
Margaret? Margaret. Jordan, your hand is up, but I don't see you on camera. Go ahead and unmute yourself if you want to still ask a question.
I'm so confused about all your programs.
Are you?
I did the Thrive. I got more in the December program than the other put together. And I'm wondering if the tapping circle, is that going to be similar to what you had in December?
Well, Tapping Circle, we'll continue to have study groups. So they won't be taught by me, they'll be taught by my coaches. So if you want to go back through the methods that I teach for weight loss and for cravings and emotional eating and food noise, the coaches are going to be teaching that. And then we're going to be offering some group classes, kind of like what we've been doing over the holidays. We're putting the schedule together for January, so we don't know exactly what days and what times and all of that, but we'll probably keep it in alignment with what we've been doing, just because we've been doing this for a while, and we've figured out the time that works for everybody and the days and stuff. So yeah, you'll still have that community support. I think the difference is that I'm not going to be teaching those classes. I'm still going to do Q&A calls, the once a month Q&A calls, but I'm not going to be teaching every single Monday like this, unless you're in the 90-day course. And the 90-day course is more for people that, if you want to work on weight loss, that's awesome. But if you want to work on something else, we can work on that too. So if you got a lot out of the weight loss part of my method and you want to know how to use these techniques to change other areas of your life, that's really what it's for.
Well, I came to the realization that I have a whole lot more anger than I ever realized.
Oh, don't we all, Margaret? You are not alone.
A whole lot. And I would say unrecognized anger is probably the root cause of 80% of my issues.
Okay. Yeah. That's a good percentage. Yeah. Do you have a question about it, Margaret? Do you have a question about the anger?
Last week, I guess on Tuesday or whatever day. I'm so confused about days right now. When we did an anger tapping, it was amazing.
Oh,
Just
good.
totally
Thank you.
amazing.
Thank you for sharing that.
I tapped on frustration regarding a friend of mine who has Alzheimer's.
Yeah.
And I got such a release from that tapping. And I said, I slept so well that night because it was just such a release.
That's great. I'm gonna have a good sleep tonight. I did a big anger tapping session on myself today. Thank you for sharing that, Margaret.
But I'm just a little unclear. I know you have this new 90-day program. I did the Thrive in this tapping circle. And plus, the first part of the year, I moved, which was very traumatic. So I've had a lot of opportunities, but I'm not sure which way to go.
Margaret, think about it like this. If you want to work more closely with me, I'm going to keep doing classes for the next 90 days in the 90-day circle. And we can work on anger, we can work on weight, we can work on financial things, we can work on whatever you want to work on. If you want to keep working on weight and you don't want to spend the extra money, you stay in the tapping circle, and we have coaches and me once a month that's going to do Q&A calls where I'll answer your questions and give you prescriptions to help you do your own tapping. And then you can come to the group calls with the coaches and with the other people in the tapping circle. Tapping circle is like the community membership, and the 90-day program is kind of like the smaller circle, like the inner circle for, and it's just for less people. In the tapping circle, we have hundreds of people. So just think about it like it's just a smaller group of people that's working on more specific things that aren't just weight. Does that make sense?
Okay. Yes, I understand.
Okay, good. Thank you for your question.
Thank you.
Yeah, you're welcome. Okay, ladies. Thanks so much for the call today. It's been so nice to be with you all. Super excited for the 90-day challenge or the 90-day reinvention. And for those of you that will be there, I'm looking forward to seeing you then. And if you won't be there, I will still see you every month on the Tapping Circle Q&A calls. So lots of love, you guys. This has been really fun. Thanks so much. Talk soon. Bye.